Welcome to the Growth House Podcast, your go-to destination for all things real estate, finance, business, and entrepreneurship. Join us as we delve into the dynamic world of property markets, investment strategies, financial insights, and the art of building successful businesses from the ground up. Whether you're a seasoned investor, aspiring entrepreneur, or simply curious about the intricacies of wealth creation, our podcast offers expert interviews, actionable advice, and invaluable tips to empower your journey towards financial freedom and entrepreneurial success. I'm your host, Jesse Ray, and tune in each week as we explore the latest trends, share inspiring success stories, and equip you with the knowledge and tools to thrive in today's ever-evolving landscape. Get ready to unlock the doors to your financial future and embark on a transformative journey with us.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you get financial independence, quit that JOB, that just overbroke job, by investing in real estate so you never, ever have to work a job again. Today, I'm super pumped to bring on a good friend of mine who actually, he came to the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, our first one in 2022. And then after getting to know him, he started investing in real estate as well as helping a lot of people to achieve their financial goals. With that, he created two Airbnbs that not necessarily Airbnbs, they were community houses to help people get financial education, to invest, to do lots of other things, and to connect together. He calls it the Growth House. Amazing place. I've been there a number of times to help and train people and do some coaching as well as just, present and be there. As well, he's done the immersion. Immersion is where you actually have he did 21 days straight with people of like mind of financial intelligence, as well as wanting to invest and become financially independent. He did this at the same time. He's also doing so many other things in his investing and his career. I have my good friend Jesse Ray on the show with me. Jesse, so glad to have you here with me, man.
Man, it's an honor, Dustin. I appreciate the introduction.
This is fun. So you and you came to my conference, number one. Then at the same time, I just asked me, hey, would you like to help out with what I'm the vision of what I'm going to do? And I love to help. I love to just be as useful as possible to other people because it definitely brings me joy. It brings me fulfillment. But on top of that, I saw what you were doing. I saw the vision of how you wanted to help people. I said, absolutely. And then from there, from communications, as well as you're a connector, you like connecting people. And you're a giver too. I was like, man, this is great. So we become friends now. And we go out to lunch, we hang out together. But this is so great that having somebody like you, very, very similar. And one of the most ways that we're very similar is how we want to help people. How we want to make sure that we're helping people get what they want. Not necessarily what they want, but achieve their goals, achieve their desires. And at the same time, we are connecting them with other people. So Jesse, this is so awesome. Now, when you what made you even want to start helping people?
Man, it's really that go-giver mentality that we both have. And I think that's something that we were able to just resonate and really connect on. And before we jump in, I actually want to tell you, I don't know if you know this, Dustin, RubeCon was my first solely real estate conference I've ever been to in my life. So You really got me started my journey. I think I had one house. I just got my first house at the time. And so that conference totally propelled me into, what I'm doing now. So I just want to thank you. I don't know if you know that.
Absolutely. No, I didn't. But with that, I remember you said that you actually heard it on my podcast, heard about the conference, me talking about the conference on the podcast. You live in Mesa, which is Phoenix area. And I was having the conference in 22 in Phoenix. And so you were able to come and take part in it. And I just remember you coming up and being very genuine, which is just comes across so much better, and not a taker. Because there are plenty of people, and everybody will get this in their life, where they'll get somebody that is a taker type of personality, where they just come across like they want something from you. And those type of people don't get very far in life, in my opinion. I find that the people that are actually ones that want to give more, that want to help people, they get a lot more out of life, and they get more people that want to work with them just because they're trying to give. How did you come up with it? Not come up with it, but what made you go down the path of trying to give?
Yeah, I just think for me, it's always leading with value. And I think there's a Zig Ziglar quote that I learned early on when I first started my career back when I was working a job. And I can't remember exact quote. It was pretty much you can have as much as you want as long as you're able to help others get as much as they want. And I definitely butchered that quote a little bit, but that's kind of the general concept of just give and don't keep score, and everything comes back to you. That's just what I believe. And it's really, helped me a lot with my career and my journey. I definitely would not have been able to build what I have with Growth House and have amazing people like you come and speak if I didn't at first at least give value and come across as very genuine and someone that wants to see how I can help them first.
That literally is the best way to approach any relationship, any conversation that you're about to have or anybody's about to have, is how can I help this person? Because if you go and say, well, how talk to the person and say, well, I love what you're doing. I'd love to help you in this. You could even say something like, well, I don't even want to get paid. I literally just want to be a part of everything that you're doing. So let me be a part of it. And in doing that, they're going to look at you as, man, this is somebody that is not just in it for themselves, number one, but also number two, they actually want to perpetuate what I'm doing or get my vision, my goals done. And then that's like, man, let me grab onto this person. And with that, I want to jump into your real estate investing that you're currently doing. So you bought one house, and at the time, what made you get into real estate? And then in real estate, what's your trajectory of what you're going to do now?
Yeah. So take a step back. I got into real estate, rich dad, poor dad. I know it's a cliche answer, but that's how I got in.
Oh, no, it's not a cliche. That's absolutely that's literally the book that I read in 2006, 5 or 6, that got me thinking, I really need to change my life. So if anybody hasn't read it, you absolutely must read it. So I know everybody has read it, it seems like, but the same thing, not everybody has. So it's always a great book that I would highly, highly recommend. So anyways, continue on.
Yeah, so I was trying to start all these little side projects, side hustles. That's kind of just my mentality early on after I got into personal development. It was like, I want to do something other than my job. And my job was making me great money. And I live very frugal, live below my means, delayed gratification, saved up a lot. And then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and was like, oh man, first I got into stocks, and then it transitioned into I kind of like tangible assets, something that I actually can, work on, improve, have other people rent, and also provide a service for other people. And so that journey kind of led me down to house hacking. And I was in my, I think, mid-20s when I first got started. This is around 2021. And I was living in Portland, Oregon, and I always loved Arizona. So I'm like, why don't I buy a house out in Arizona?
Quickly explain house hacking and then get back to living in Oregon.
Absolutely. So house hacking for me, I rented out all the rooms in the house. So I lived in one room and rented out the rest of the rooms in the house. And ideally is so you can live for free, or you can actually live in the house and actually make money beyond the mortgage from the rental income from the other people. Another way to do it is through buying like a 4-unit and then living in one of the units and renting out the other 3. And also there's a lot of things. I think you actually just had a podcast to listen to about this, where there's a lot of great ways in finance where you can get the home owner occupied, and it's only 3.5% to 5% down. So a lot of financing ways to get in, especially early on. I tell everyone, like, this is the way to go. Get into a house by house hacking. And so, yeah, I decided to buy a bigger house out in Arizona. Wasn't sure when I was going to live out there because I was living in Portland. And so I got the house 10% down as my second home. And then eventually was like, man, I love Arizona. I want to kind of move out there. And so at the same time, I'm like, okay, who should I rent out these rooms to? And for me, I'm always super hyper focused and intentional about who I'm surrounding myself with. So I was surrounding myself with other people who are like-minded, whether they were in sales, business professionals, entrepreneurs. And that's kind of how I got started. So I just surrounded myself with these like-minded people in a house.
And with that, I mean, you definitely took a huge action in buying that first property, moving out here. I personally love Arizona, even though now I'm moving to Tennessee. I definitely love Arizona. It's getting a little too California-ish. There's a lot of California people moving over here, but it's still it's still a great state. Now with that, you bought one property, and then when you came to Rubicon, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, you were also, I think you bought a second one at the time. So now you have 2. Is that correct?
I think I was just like in the middle, or maybe just bought my second house. And that's kind of when the concept of Growth House started. Was, man, all these people are loving living with other like-minded people. There's nothing else like that. And so I was like, all right, let me cater to, this demographic, which was me, right before I bought the house. I would have loved to live in one of these houses with other like-minded people. And so with that being said, I got my second house. But there's kind of a fun story I like to share about the second house, because for me, writing down my goals was the reason I was actually able to even get out of analysis paralysis. Guys, I don't know if you're like me, but I spent 5 years saying I was going to buy a house. 5 years. And nothing ever happened. I would get, a little bit further in a deal, but never make an offer, just get too scared and back out. And so before I got the first house, and this actually leads to the story of how I got my second house. So I'm in Portland and I'm like, I need to get this house. And so I write it down in my journal. So every single year at the end of the year, I write a goal, right? And so for me, it was by February of, I think this might have been 2021, I want to buy my first property. I write it down. After I write it down, I literally make an offer like 3 days later and then close the day before the expiration date of my goal. So it's just like this, the power of the pen to pad and making it happen, kind of like a written negotiation contract with yourself is super important. And so that's how I got my first house. Mm-hmm.
That's so terrific, because you're saying I'm absolutely going to be doing this no matter what is going to come my way. I'm not going to let anything stop me. And when I was quitting my job, so I already bought a couple properties. I said in 10 years, I'm going to quit my job no matter what. Like, even if I don't have enough money, I'm still going to quit. Like, it's a deadline, more than deadline. It's like I'm burning the bridges as I go, you know, and there's no turning back. So then you got your second property, but with the two different properties, you created something that I was thinking, oh my goodness, that sounds like a lot of work, but at the same time, it is super fun that you're helping people. You made it into a communal type of living where people live together and help each other out. But before we get to that, I got to ask about the name, the Growth House. I told my wife, hey, babe, I'm going to go and speak at the Growth House. She's all, you don't know anything about marijuana. I don't. It's about real estate. It's about finance and everything like that. So tell me, how'd you get the name of the Growth House?
Yeah, for me, it was just growth-minded people. And then after, we got the LLC and everything, everyone's like, oh, what are you growing? I'm like, guys, no, not that type of growth.
People. We're growing people. Yeah, there you
exactly. Go. So everyone asked, like, where's the operation, guys? There's no operation. This is the plant that you see right here, wherever it is. That's the only growth that we have plant-wise.
That's awesome. Okay, so, but you decided to make it more of a group or a communal living type of thing where you're renting out all the doors and you're putting on events where, like, the first time I came, went spoke at an event, you probably had a good maybe 20 people, 25 people. The whole place was packed with people talking about real estate. I loved teaching them. It was so much fun. Really genuine people that really wanted to learn. What got you to actually do the step of having a communal type living? Because I love the single family, long-term rental properties. Midterm and short-term are great too. But thought of renting out per room, that's a lot of work. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I can tell you about the Growth House concept, and then I actually want to kind of pull back the curtain on what it looks like doing a co-living house and actually how easy it is, because there's definitely a misconception that it's so much work. So starting with Growth House and that, the idea that I had that spawned into now doing master classes at the house, doing accountability meetings. So that's kind of what we ended up doing. And for me, it's you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? And so we kind of took that quote and made it smaller. And for the motto of the Growth House is you become who you surround yourself with. And so it was really hard to find like-minded people. Now we're living together in the house. How about we have weekly accountability meetings? And then on top of that, let's actually have speakers come in, once or twice a month where we'll host. We'll have our house completely packed with amazing people. And then a speaker like Dustin comes and shares how you can get into real estate or how to start being a content creator, stuff like that. So that's what we ended up doing with Growth House. And that was kind of like our niche within the co-living space. But taking a step back and talking about co-living as a general term, I think it's like the best way to get into real estate after you house hack. Then you leave, buy another house, because every year you can go buy a new house. So you buy another house after you house hack, and then that first house is now a co-living house where you're just renting out the bedrooms individually. So that's how, we got started with co-living. Was once I left, then we have a home just by itself. And for us, it was furnishing the house as well. So we actually furnished the bedrooms so people can just come, suitcase, that's it. They're good. They're ready to go. So it attracted a lot of people who were moving to the city for the first time.
I definitely remember seeing lots and lots of people that were also coming, not just that live there, but you also made it so that people that didn't live there will be able to come and take part in this as well. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So just kind of growing the Growth House community as a whole without people just living in the houses.
Yeah, totally. And because like you said, there was, I don't know, let's say 5 to 8 people living in the house, but at the time where I came and spoke, I gave my speech on real estate investing. At that time, there was like 25 people. I mean, it was packed out.
Yeah, we definitely created a little community where people are like, hey, we can't live in the house, but we want to be a part of what you're doing. And so from there, it just kind of spread word of mouth. We didn't do any marketing, just kind of threw up a Instagram page and then made some shirts, made a little bit of merch. And people just started, loving the concept because it is a lonely journey as an entrepreneur or aspiring, real estate investor. Not too many people think like us. We're probably working past our normal work days to actually get steps in to achieve financial independence and freedom. So how do you find these people? Go to networking events. And so we just kind of created a community of networking, of, teaching and education as well, which then led into our online community.
Yeah. And now you're continuing with there. So I want to jump into your online community in just a minute, but getting to the idea of the communal living, what are your thoughts? Is that something that you would continue to do? Would you continue by your next portfolio, like next property after property, keep doing the same thing? Or are you going to change it up? What are your thoughts with that? And is that a good strategy for somebody to get in? Because you said if you're going to get started, it's a great way to do it after house hacking.
Yes. I mean, for people that are trying to achieve financial independence, freedom, you're all about cash flow, right? That's the main thing you're trying to focus on. And so for me, I had a 6-figure corporate job. So how can I replace 6 figures of income? And maybe it's a little bit harder now, but it's still cash flows now as a co-living property. So that's the beauty of co-living, where you can make I'm actually looking at my numbers right now because I just got my taxes and did kind of the year to date, and $209,000 worth of revenue off of 2 houses. And then our net was $103,000. So Dustin, you tell me.
Off of 2 houses?
Yes.
$50,000 a house.
And we can break that down.
Well, easily you get 2 houses. Obviously, we know it's going to be a little bit of work, much more work than getting a long-term tenant in there, which is understandable. But if you can make a full-time salary, having 2 properties and have other people living in your house, getting the communal living type of space, then you have $100,000 a year. This is after taxes. That's the profit. Then with that, you can do it over and over again. That's a great business model.
Exactly. So that's why I say house hacking, get in. And then once you go to the next house, turn that other house into a co-living home. And people are doing this not even through house hacking. They're just now buying, like my partner, Greg, he's buying these homes, adding a couple bedrooms, adding a bathroom, boom, turning a 3.2 into a 6.3 and cash flowing, $2,000, $2,500 a month in today's market right now. We're doing this currently. So that's the strategy that if you're looking for cash flow, there's not too much that beats that. And like you said, obviously is going to be more work than just sticking, a tenant in there for 3 to 4 years. But for us, typically, I would say about 8 months is the normal length of stay. But then we have people like my friend Derek, who I met through the Growth House, one of my best friends now. He's still here. It's like 2.5, 3 years later. So it's definitely a place where I tell them, hey guys, I want you to, because they're in the same mindset. They want to lower their expenses. They want to live below the means, save up so they can eventually buy a home. And so I'm like, perfect. Stay within our houses, stay within our community. And when you're ready, we'll help you go get your next home. So it's a great kind of just a community that fosters the same type of people that want the same type of things.
When you're talking about the online community that you're building too, on top of the Growth House immersion, now, one thing that really impressed me is how many people that are really high caliber people. And I honestly, like, you would admit you're not like at their caliber. Like there's like Zach Keeps, amazing. Yeah. Like I'm not at his caliber. Like he's got, I don't know, at least probably 1,000 properties. I'm probably overshooting, but
he has over 270. No, he has over 275 single family homes
in Arizona, and he runs it all himself, or he has a team that does it. He's amazing. A great guy too. Like, love that guy. But you have so many high caliber people that want to be around you. Like the first day after you and I talked, I was like, yeah, of course I'll go help out. I'll be a part of it. And so you sucked me in pretty quick. And then obviously so many other people, but I'm just super impressed and so impressed at how you are able to get people that are really, really high caliber that want to take part in helping with you in the Growth House, as well as you did something that it all ties together. You reached out to somebody on Instagram that you liked and followed, and you said you saw that they were going to stay in, was it Cuba? I think, wasn't it?
No, it's my favorite podcaster that was going to go ahead to Colombia.
So he's listening to the podcast. And here's he's going to be going to Colombia and stay there for a month. And you reach out to him. Tell me about that, and tell me about how that plays into your way of connecting with high caliber people.
Absolutely. And it's so funny because ironically, I dropped the episode today, which I'm still trying to figure out the series title, but it's like the art of connecting. And it's the story of how I met Diego Corzo, who's now one of my best friends. And I met him through RubeCon. So it's crazy. So you actually have to listen to that one because you'll get a kick out of it. But
I definitely will.
Yeah, it's great. So as far as networking and connecting, for me, it's also figuring out people that have the same type of mentality. They have that go-giver mentality, they have that servant leader mentality. And yes, like you said, they are usually way, multiple steps ahead of me. And so I figure out what kind of value can I bring? So I'll tell you a little story about Brian. So one of my favorite podcasters, I was listening to him for about a year. This is early this year, early last year, 2023. And we would talk DM a couple times. And then at the end of the year, around November, he posted on his Instagram story. He said, "Hey, I'm in Mexico City, about to go to Colombia." And so I sent him an Instagram message saying, "Hey, man, when are you headed to Colombia? I was thinking about going." And really, I wasn't thinking about going, at least like not that soon. Definitely was on my bucket list. And so he responds to me and he goes, "Oh, these dates." I'm like, "Cool. I think those are like similar to the dates that I'm thinking about going." And he goes, "Well, meet me down here." And I'm like, "All right." And so I literally I sent him a message saying, "Hey, where are you staying?" And he sent me back a hotel. I literally booked a hotel at the same spot, a little bit out of my budget, but you know what? It worked out perfect. So I went out there, spent, a couple $1,000s, connected with him, spent Christmas and then New Year's out there in Colombia with him. And here's also the funny part. I think I told you as well. Through this whole process, there's a guy named Sam Wiegert, who I recently connected you with, Dustin, and he's like the king of co-living. This guy's amazing. And so we connected that year, and then he sends us a message while we're in Colombia saying, "How long are you guys down there?" We said, "Oh, another couple of weeks." He said, "I'll see you in 2 days." So literally the two people that I wanted to connect with, like on kind of my goal sheet, my journal, I'm like, these are two guys I want to build a relationship with. I get to hang out on Christmas in Colombia with. It was amazing.
And it was so amazing that you're connecting with like really amazing people, the high caliber people. And you did it by really just reaching out and being available. And it's so fun that you didn't actually, like, it's not on your calendar that you were going to go to Colombia, like literally written down. It was already planned out, but you knew that you were already going to be in Colombia because he was in Colombia. So it's easy enough to, it's not lying saying that, "Oh yeah, I'm planning on being down there too." Because you already made that plans. It might have just been 5 seconds earlier, but you made plans to do it.
It might have been 5 months earlier, but you know what? I made it happen.
Totally. And then, but you not just took action. That's not the right way to say it. Like you said, I'm going to put myself in a position to actively get to know somebody who I really would love to get to know. And I was on his podcast recently. He's coming on mine, and super genuine guy. I really like Brian. He's a really nice guy. So I like what he's doing. I'm actually taking his, tactic or strategy in social media. One of his things that he said, because I listened to that episode you sent me, Jesse, about like social media. And he said, literally follow somebody and then copy what they do. Like copy exactly what they do. And I'm like, done. I'm going to do that. So I've already copied him one time. I'm just going to keep copying because he's doing really good on social media.
Yes, I love that. And I think it's really important. Like during this podcast, I'm going to do a series on the art of connecting. It's those little things like put yourself in the arena. Where are they? Okay, put yourself around those type of people that you want to connect with. And it doesn't have to be a specific person. Like, guys, if you're just getting started, you're like, I just want to be around people who are 4 or 5 chapters ahead of me. Okay, why aren't you at RubeCon? Why aren't you in Dustin's mastermind? Like, these are things that I put myself in the arena by. Yes, it does cost money, but the return is going to be crazy. And it's priceless. Some of the returns when you build a relationship like Dustin and I have, or me and Brian have. So that same guy that I went and, met in Colombia, I also signed up right away to his next event. I paid for it. I'm not asking for favors either. That's another thing. Like, how can I provide him value? I'm now connecting him with Dustin to get on the podcast. I'm now connecting, Brian with other people that can join his community. I personally paid to join the community and be at one of the events. And then now, guess what? We're now spending a month together in Europe in July. So you never know what can happen. And it's just putting yourself in the arena, putting yourself around people that you're going to like because they have the same mindset and mentality.
And what is great too, on top of this, so everybody listening, you need to really realize that you want people to actually not just know you, but even like you, where they want to work with you. Because I like the idea that it doesn't matter who you know, it only matters who knows you. I mean, I could say, yeah, I know this person, but maybe I met him one time in passing, shook his hand while he was doing 10 other things. He has no idea who I am. It only matters if that person would actually say, yes, I know this person. Let me work with them, talk to them, or help them out. Now you have lots of people because you invest into that relationship. You invest to that person so that you help them achieve what they want, which in turn, they're going to achieve what you want, help you achieve what you want. And I just love that you have that perspective, because most people don't have that perspective. And it takes, honestly, actually most people financial freedom before you actually get that perspective. Like, it's like, okay, now I don't have to focus on myself. Usually people, and I was in the same boat where I was focusing just on myself, on the things that I needed, which is understandable because we have needs, our families, we got to take care of all that sort of stuff. But with that, we also are missing out on so many other things. You know, if we're just focusing on ourselves, getting what we want, yes, that we'll eventually get what we want. But when we start focusing on other people, getting them what they want, they are actually going to be able to be, number one, be grateful. Number two, you're going to feel fulfilled because you help somebody get what they want. But number three, they're going to turn around and say, man, that was awesome. How can I help you?
100%. I want to touch on one more thing, because I think a lot of people hear this phrase, provide value, bring value to someone, but a lot of people don't know what that even means or how to do it. And so here's a secret. Ready for the secret? If you meet someone and they're 5 chapters ahead of you, okay, maybe you don't have the exact skill set that they're looking for or need, but you might know of someone who does. So instead of think, what can I do to help this person? What can someone within my network do to help this person? And always ask, hey, what are you looking for? What projects are you working on? If I was to connect you with someone, who would that be? So you're thinking ahead of time, like before, you ever ask them for anything. Like, there's so many people I've never asked for anything, and I'm just providing value and just not keeping score, just give. And that's the mentality that I think a lot of people need to have. And so with that being said, you connect someone with someone else that person wants or needs as a resource, boom, they become friends. That's the greatest thing for you, because now when they hang out, when they talk, what's their mutual connection? Jesse. So now they're hanging out, they're doing a podcast. I'm probably mentioned on 4 or 5 different podcasts of people that I connected. So that's another thing to think about. Like, it doesn't have to be you. You don't have to have this incredible skill set, but if you're someone that has a strong connection to people, knows how to build relationships and connect the right people strategically, that can take you very far.
That is such an amazing tip. And with what you do, and I do the same thing, at least I try my best to do it. If ever there is anybody that has a need, I don't care if they're 10 chapters ahead of me or 8 to 10 chapters behind me. That doesn't matter. The biggest thing that I try to do is say, there's a need. There's a person standing in front of me that I'm talking to. They have a need. I might have the ability to fulfill that need, or I might know somebody that has that ability to fulfill that need. If I connect them, that makes me, number one, feel fulfilled. I feel like I helped somebody get what they want. But number two, they're gonna look at me, man, thank you so much. I didn't know this person. So many times, like you and I do the exact same thing. So many times I get people say, man, you connected me with this person. It was like, I'm so excited because I never would have found that person on my own, or at least I don't think so. And at the same time, I've had many people do that for me. A quick example, one of my properties, it was actually getting turned over, rehabbed, and it was taking literally 3 months. Well, a friend of mine who I met through Rubicon at the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, his name's Zach, he connected me with a property manager in the area in Akron where I invest. He connected me with that property manager. And I said, hey, would you be able to help me with rehabbing this property? This one's taking forever. My property manager just doesn't have the systems and everything that we need in order to get it done faster. And he said, sure, I'll help you out. Because another quick thing, because I got connected him through Zach said, you really should have him speak at Rubicon. He's done so many flips and all that sort of stuff. He came, I invited him to come speak at Rubicon. I gave him a leg up because I offered him a chance to speak at a conference that helps him, and people wanted to start working with him. Now with that, on top of that, he's looking at me now, how can I help you? So I called him up. I said, hey, Steve, his name's Steve Yoke, awesome guy up in Akron. I said, Steve, I really got a problem with the property. Can you help me out? He's all, you know what? Absolutely. I'll help you out. And so he's literally doing it all at cost because we become friends. I helped him out being at my conference. So there's such an amazing power in connecting people to help you get what you want, and then they get what they want. Now, let's quickly shift gears. So you have the Growth House podcast, which is terrific. You also are doing something with online community, trying to get people so that they can reach their goals, as well as you're still doing the growth house, you're doing immersion, you're doing so many great things. But walk us through everything that you are doing to help people achieve what they want in life.
For sure. Like walking through the little ecosystem that we're building. So it really started with Growth House Living. So Growth House Living, that's where people that are business professionals, entrepreneurs, they stay in these houses. And then we had, like Dustin said, people coming and doing these master classes with us. So now we have 30 people in the house. Obviously, not everyone lives there. And so we're like, okay, how can we still help, more people? And so that's where we did Growth House Community, which is an online community. And we just launched it actually this month. So it's still in beta and we have a wait list for next month. And then that's kind of what we're doing with the community, where it's the steps that I took. It was corporate. So most of our people in our community have a high paying job. And they're like, how the heck am I going to get cash flow to replace that high paying income? And so we help them through real estate. And then from there, once you hit financial independence and freedom, I think a lot of people think that's the end. Once you hit financial freedom, that's the beginning of like a new life. That's where you can actually have time to have fun, go do stuff. But then as someone who's ambitious and hits it, especially at a young age, you're not going to sit at the beach. Like I went to Mexico, was hungover, sunburnt, and I'm like, okay, I need to do something with my life. Like you can't do that forever. So I think that vision of passive income to lay on a beach is kind of like,
Totally. No, keep your train of thought. So I just want to quickly also say, when I quit my job, when I would change financial freedom, literally for the entire year, I went to movies, I worked out at the gym, I play with my family and my kids. And don't get me wrong, it was really, really good to have time to really, you're out of that job. You're out of that crappy, just over broke job. And then now you're like, oh, now I have my free life. But then after so long, I started feeling like I was almost not necessarily like not producing anything, because I was still making money for my family, but I wasn't progressing. I wasn't growing. I didn't have a goal in life anymore. My goal was my job. And then at RubeCon, I'll fast forward to RubeCon. RubeCon was where I created my new goals to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. And so everything I do is on that track. That's what drives me. But it didn't start there. It started with me saying, you know what? There might be somebody that might want some help in that. I had friends and family members asking me questions on how to invest, and I realized I liked it. It was fun. It was really enjoyable to tell people how to invest. And then with that, seeing them change their lives, like that was so amazing for me. I started getting more fulfilled in my life when I started helping other people, seeing them get their first property or quit their job. In fact, when I bought my first property, it was a great accomplishment, but that's all it was. But then I needed another accomplishment. Then I needed another accomplishment. Then I quit my job. A terrific accomplishment, but I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt like I needed more accomplishments. When I started helping people to invest, when I started coaching them, when I started seeing them quit their jobs because that's their ultimate goal, I felt so fulfilled in life. And that's why I strive for that every single day now, is because I get more fulfillment. And I'm also blessed because I work my tail off, just like you, to get financial independence. Now I can solely focus on helping other people. But the great thing about doing that, just like Zig Ziglar quote, you can get anything you want in life as long as you help as many people as it takes to get there. I think it's something like that. Well, both you and I butchered it, but
I was going to say that seemed closer.
But we want to find the people that we can help get what they want. And in turn, we will get what I want. But I mean, above all, the biggest thing, you feel more fulfilled in life, not just because you get what you want. I have more impact on people. People look at me like, man, you took your time. Like, you don't have to do this. You're helping me, like creating real estate wealth builders conference to coaching people. I literally have people thanking me, and they're paying me for all the time, but they said, thank you for allowing us to pay you for the time, because we know you don't have to do this. So bring all this back together. When you start focusing on serving people, you actually achieve financial freedom so much faster. So if I were to start all over again, I would so focus on how can I serve more and more people. One cool last thing I'll say, because I want you to get back into what you were thinking, Jesse. This is a long rant. What am I saying? But if you're working a job, you're only serving one person. Now that one person, the owner, has a bunch of customers. They're serving a lot of people, but you're only serving that one person. Now, if you start a business and you're a small business, you have a lot more people that you're serving, so you can make more money. You need to expand that. You need to multiply that out where you're serving as many people as possible, because the more people you serve, the more and better your life gets and the better their life gets. So that was a big, long, I meant to just interject, but keep going, Jesse, because you're going down a great trail.
Yeah, I think how we relate is we like to see the personal impact. And at my corporate job, I was selling software, copiers. Like, I didn't see any real personal impact. So it is so much more fulfilling when you're actually able to help change a person's life and visually be able to see it and hear it and get these messages. Like, Jesse, I just bought my first property after listening to your podcast. After being in the community, we added $20,000 more revenue. Now I can retire my parents. Like, guys, that fires me up. Like, that's what gets me excited. And so, yes, I would not have been able to have this type of time to pour into others if I didn't hit that financial independence number. And so for me, going, and I think Brian coined this term, which is once you're out of that job, now you can figure out and go back to what you're passionate about. What fires you out? What fires you up? Now you can look at passionate income. And I love that term because it really just gives you that idea of how do I make money, but also what fulfills me and what am I passionate about at the same time?
The fulfillment aspect, I never knew until I stumbled upon it. Being fulfilled in life as opposed to just having accomplishments, because we're taught in school to have an accomplishment. You get good grades, on your test, on your report card, go to college. It's all about achieving accomplishments, not about fulfilling and serving other people. That's when you get more significance. Not necessarily to say that's what the end goal. It's not the end goal, but I have so many people like either come to my conference, send me a DM on Instagram, to emailing me just saying, thank you so much that you give this out. I feel like, my goodness, I am so like, I'm on top of the moon when I get those, because I am able to serve other people. Now, Jesse, with the growth house and the immersion, you have,
I didn't even finish the ecosystem.
Yes, that's what you have. So many great things, just like me. Like, you and I are very, very similar. And so, like with Master Passive Income, with Rubicon, I've got like 5 different events planned, or yearly events planned. I've got so many things just like you. We're both visionaries. We all both attain things. But talk to me about how are you going to now serve more people with the growth house immersion and everything online that you have?
Yeah, so for the online, it's really providing the 3 things that most people need, especially when they're getting started or looking to scale. It's capital, accountability, and community. So that's kind of our framework where we base everything off of. So getting, a group of high level, but also highly ambitious people that are looking to strive to achieve financial freedom. But then once they're there, okay, what's that next step? So that's what the community's for. And then also we have an in-person mastermind, which we're not doing 21 days again because I burnt myself out. I don't know what gave me the idea to do that, but we decided, okay, what's a good amount of time where we can actually impact, change people's lives, have people walk out with the ROI, and it's about 3 days. And for us, it's basically taking like a conference or taking, a big event and making it very intimate. We actually be able to talk to the speakers. It's like going to a conference and having that VIP dinner, which is so amazing. Imagine that type of experience, but for 3 days. We're small group training. It's you freezing your butt off in the cold plunge with the other speakers, 8 and 9 figures. It's being around this type of environment.
You tried to get me in that cold plunge. Sorry, I get quickly.
You're going to get on. You're going to get it. Have you ever done one?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Okay.
Now, the hot tub was so much better. That was so much better than the cold plunge. But so sorry, I quickly just say, maybe next time. Next time I will jump in there. But it was like winter time, and I was like, why would I jump in? It's already cold. But Jesse, so you said getting around the right people. And getting like you also bring people in that fly from all over the country,
Puerto Rico, Nashville, all over the world,
to really help out.
Yeah, and that's just those type of people that we attract. Both of us is those servant leaders that want to actually see people's lives change. They're not doing it for exchange for because I want clout on social media or I have a $10,000 speaking fee. These are people that just are so genuine. They want to come hang out. Also, we do it in a mansion. So, I mean, they do have some, nice little amenities where they come hang out.
So let me ask you a question. Now, if somebody is wanting to connect with another person that is, higher caliber or higher level than where they are, it seems like there could be a fine line from being, no, you're trying to give. Now, obviously the understanding premise is that you're giving. How can I give value? How can I help out? How can I help? is there a fine line to where it also becomes maybe too aggressive or too forward or become annoying to the person? Is there a fine line, or have you even come across that?
I mean, there definitely is some social cues that, most people should know. If you don't, then I don't know how to help you there. But for me, it's also just seeing who I like who I hit it off with. Like for me, vibe, energy, like that's very real. And so me and Dustin, when we first met, it was just like, we're going to be boys, like we're going to be friends. And so it's not pushing it. Like if you're trying to reach out to someone and it's just not there, then why are you forcing a connection that does not need to be made? And maybe it's going to be a connection that's not even going to be a real friendship. For me, I'm always looking for a true friendship at the end of the day. And then everything else amazing happens from there.
How do you, and just, it seems like people, especially introverts, they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, Jesse and Dustin, they're both extroverts. They can do that. No problem. Yes. It's much easier for us as extroverts to be able to do this, but it's also a learned trait. I didn't always have this trait. I literally had to make myself be okay with going up to somebody and say, hey, how are you doing? Tell me about yourself. What's your name? Do you have any tips or keys to establish that relationship? Because somebody might be thinking, oh man, look at this person. They're way too ahead of me. You just go up and say, hi, blah, blah, blah. You just try to interchange a couple cordial interjections back and forth. But how do you then get that past that hurdle to where, can I get your phone number so I can reach out to you? Like, how can I connect with you? How do you do that?
I love that you're asking me these questions because I'm literally like on the fence if I should continue this series I just launched. So guys, go listen to this series, Growth House Podcast, and give me some feedback, because this is kind of what I am leaning into doing, because there's so many people that are asking me these questions. And for what you said, I think it's really this feeling it out, seeing if there's a connection there, but also these people are busy. So, hey, let's connect. What's your Instagram? Boom. Don't force them to follow you back. Don't be weird. Just follow them on Instagram, connect with them. And then from there, what I always do is engage. When I see people engaging with my stuff, leaving me comments, reposting my story, man, I just listened to Jesse's podcast. This was so awesome. Tag me in it so that I see it. Like all that stuff, do that with other people that you're looking to connect with. It doesn't have to be like this rocket science formula, but it is just little things that they see you. They see that you're around. Oh, you're headed to this conference? Oh man, I think I might be going to that conference as well. Just be in the arena, but then also when you connect with them, just think of little ways that you can engage. And then from there, you can take it a step further saying, hey, I would love for you to be on my podcast, which I think is a hack. And Dustin, tell me if you think this as well. If you create a podcast, that is something where I guarantee you will 5x your network if you stay consistent in only like 6 months. It does not take a long time, especially if you're able to then provide value with clips. So that's what I do, Dustin, is after I do podcasts, I'm like, hey, here's 3 clips. Here's a link to all the content. Let me know what you think. And they're like, dude, what? I got clips after this podcast. And then they're looking to, promote me on social media and tag me. Like people love that type of stuff.
I'll add one thing. Clips are not bad at all. Those are great. But what is the best thing you can do is, I would suggest you post that clip on and you tag them, not just tag them, collaborator. So that's easy for them just to hit yes. And I get so many more people to actually do that, as opposed to me say, hey, here's the download folder, Google Drive, where you can get all the different downloadable files that they then have to download, think about, post. That doesn't work very often. What does work often is where you post it, highlight them tremendously well, and then hopefully, and just, you can even send them a quick DM. Hey man, I just tagged you on this as a collaborator. Would you mind, accepting it? And that helps them to say, oh yes, one button. So simple. Jesse was a cool dude. So absolutely. That's my little, I guess, tiny little hack that I think would be great. But to quickly answer your question about the podcast or your thought, the podcast is by far one of the best ways. Like YouTube is not great. I mean, it's okay. Don't get me wrong. Social media is not bad. But the podcast, because talking to somebody for literally 45 minutes, you can say, like Jesse, let's say you had your own podcast, and before you're thinking, man, I would love to be able to pick, quote unquote, pick Dustin's brain for 45 minutes. I would say, and I do say this, no, I don't have time. I got a wife and kids. I got so many other things to do. I can't make it. But if you say, can I have you on my podcast? I'd love to share you. Remember, it's all about the person. You have to help them to understand why they want to do it. I'd love to share you with my audience so they can get to know you. Oh yeah, Jesse, that sounds great because you're talking about me being able to get something because you're delivering value. That's the best thing. Then you have 45 minutes to pick that person's brain and get to know that person and hopefully establish a relationship. So I think by far podcasts are, if you do a good podcast, if you do it well, it's one of the best ways to network.
Literally every single person that's been on our podcast is wanting to come to Immersion and speak and be a mentor for free. Guys, that would not have happened if I didn't have the podcast. So that took my networking and my connecting to another level. 100% agree.
And I'll say this, you should have, because I've been talking to you about it for a while, should have started at least a year before. You're taking
sure. For
at
sure.
least a year, maybe 2 years before. And so now you're doing it. I'm so glad. And
Dustin, I'm really excited. I would say this real quick because you inspired me to do this too, is that I thought I was just going to be the person doing the interviews, being the host, but then I'm seeing Brian doing the solo shows. And I'm like, I actually rather just listen to Brian's story, or when Dustin talks, like I just listened to yours like yesterday. And those are the ones that I actually get to know the host. I get to know their story. I get even more, I guess emotionally attached to that person's story and want to be a part of what they're doing. And for me, I'm like, all right, Jesse, it's time. So I did have some analysis paralysis on that. I went about 50 episodes without doing a solo podcast. I am now committing to documenting my journey from doing the Growth House from $0 to $10 million, like just on the podcast. That's what I'm doing. I'm documenting that journey on my solo episodes and then also having the guests as well. So 4 episodes a week, Dustin. We're going all in.
4. I do 1 a week. Oh my goodness. 4 episodes.
You got stressed just thinking about it.
I do have stress, but I'm super pumped because that is by far the best way to grow. The more content you have out there, obviously it's quality. You're going to make quality, but the more content you have there, the more opportunity for somebody else to find you. And a little tip from me to you, I would suggest at minimum, it'd be 50% solo show and 50% interviews. That's a bare minimum. I would even like how I did it. I literally did like 75 shows before I did any, I think it was something like that, but 75 shows before I did any interviews. Now with that, if my suggestion for you right now is I would do 80% solo show and 20% interview show. That's like the top end. If you do completely solo, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But people like a little, they want to hear you, they want to know you, but they also want some variety at the same time. And but you're 100% right, Jesse. People come for the content, but they stay for the host. And with that, with you and I being somebody that we love connecting people, if they come and connect with us, say at RubeCon or come to Immersion and Growth House, then we're going to be able to connect them with amazing people. I can't even count how many people I connected with at RubeCon or after RubeCon with people that they would never be able to connect with. They're in my either realm of influence or I know somebody that knows somebody. So you just have to be around people. I think that's probably one of the number one things that you and I both love to do is to help people.
100%. Couldn't say any better.
Man, this is great, Jesse. You and I could go on forever. We could just literally talk and talk. But I know everybody wants to listen to your podcast, the Growth House podcast. But how can they find you? Reach out to you online, maybe Instagram or something like that.
Yeah, probably Instagram is the best way. At the Jesse Ray, the JESSERAY. I think I copied you on the thing on Instagram because I couldn't find Jesse Ray, so I did the Jesse Ray.
The Jesse Ray, the Dustin. I say the
that's probably better.
The Jesse Ray. That's the way we got to say it. But everybody, you can tell that Jesse and I are not that arrogant. It's the only handle that we can come up with. I didn't want to like really the real Dustin Heiner. That's too long. It's like, let's just put something. I could have put like
Dustin Heiner official. Yeah. Like I don't even know how to spell official half the time, so I don't want to do that one.
Totally. But so Jesse Ray, the Jesse Ray on Instagram. Anything else? Like definitely the podcast. Tell us about that.
Growth House podcast. That's like my life right now. 4 episodes a week. Dustin knows how much time I put into this. And we are going to be talking about, and it sounds like I should continue this series. So go listen to the first episode where I talk about Diego Corzo, our friend, who I met at RubeCon in that story. And then from there, you'll hear about amazing guests, and I'm excited for the journey.
And for everybody, if you made it this far, listening through this is the key. A lot of people might be thinking, man, I want a tactic on how to get rich. Like, what's the quick way? What's this or what's that? We are literally giving you without a doubt, 100% the right way to get wealthy as fast as possible, building your networking, getting to know people. And so this might not be the most sexy thing because it's, oh yeah, I get it. Let's just talk to people. No. I cannot stress this enough. If you're going to listen to any episode, it would be this episode to help you to have the mentality to then make wealth and help other people be wealthy. Listening to Jesse's episodes talking about how to connect people. Like, this is so much more than a tactical, okay, buy this type of property, then make this much money. This is so much better. Like, literally, without this, you're not going to get to where you want to be, which is extreme financial freedom, helping certain people. But Jesse, thank you so much for being on the show, man. I really appreciate you.
Dude, it's a pleasure and honor, man. I'm excited to be here and be hanging out with you, man.
Okay, buddy. I'll see you at the Growth House and Immersion.
Let's do it.